Welcome, guests. Please turn your attention to the screens as we begin our program with a message from Stacy Stewart, President and CEO of March of Dimes.
Welcome, and thank you for coming together in support of moms and babies when they need us the most. How we connect at our events may look different during COVID-19 pandemic, but our shared commitment to giving all families the best possible start is as strong as ever. As you know, the United States is among the most dangerous developed nations in the world in which to give birth. And that's under the best of circumstances. Thanks to your support, we're able to continue fighting the serious maternal and infant health issues that affect our communities. We can be there for every family, those who've had their firsthand hardships, those celebrating their health, and those just trying to start their families. So get ready to have some great experiences at our now virtual events and see how our mission works to improve the health of moms, babies, and their families in your community and everywhere. Thank you and enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Gretchen Carlson. Soft pretzels, dipped in honey, sauerkraut, peanut butter, lime juice. That's what I craved when I was pregnant. But for women becoming pregnant today, they're craving more than just what's in the fridge behind me here. They're craving better health care. Here's a fact you may not know. Did you know the U.S. remains among the most dangerous developed nations for childbirth? The COVID-19 pandemic is making it, of course, even more unsafe. Well, that's why I'm supporting the March of Dimes signature chefs, Feeding Motherhood, to fuel change and ensure all pregnant women have access to care, address inequity in maternal health, and strengthen moms, babies, and families all across America. I hope you will join us as we partner with world-class chefs, yes, world-class, to create dishes that are inspired by families impacted by the inspiring work of the March of Dimes. Every recipe you're going to learn, dish you order, event you take part in, you'll be feeding motherhood and helping moms and babies in your community be healthier and stronger. So as a longtime supporter of March of Dimes and member of the National Board of Trustees, I want to personally thank you for joining this very important event. And to all of you who have already pledged to tonight's event, thank you so very much. If you haven't already made a donation, please consider joining me and countless others right now. There has never been a more important time to show your support for moms and babies.
I'd like to echo Stacy's sentiments. Welcome, everyone. My name is Amanda Porterfield with CBS 58, and I'm honored to join you as MC for tonight's event so we can enjoy each other's company in a virtual setting and to raise important funds in support of March of Dimes. Now, I know the way that we are coming together has changed, but our dedication to fighting for all moms and babies is as strong as ever. This is a movement to nourish all aspects of motherhood, from prenatal to postpartum. Our recipe for better maternal and infant health is Feeding Motherhood. The United States faces an urgent maternal and child health crisis that's only intensified with the COVID-19 pandemic. Every 12 hours, a woman dies because of complications resulting from pregnancy. Additionally, 2 babies die each day. These numbers are disproportionately higher for moms and babies of color. March of Dimes works in communities across the country to reduce the rising rates of preterm birth, as well as maternal and infant mortality and morbidity. They support families before, during, and after pregnancy to ensure that all moms and their babies get the best possible start. We're here tonight to make an impact for all families. And to do that, we need your participation throughout our entire program. So make sure to chat with us throughout the entire evening in our Share Your Thoughts section. We want to hear from you. So let's start by saying hello and sharing your connection to March of Dimes. We hope that you've had a chance to visit our online auction and place your bids. It's all for a great cause, so make sure to bid high and make sure you bid often. We'll highlight a few of our most coveted packages later in the program, and you can also click Join the Auction and Give Today to register. And trust me, you're going to want to check out all of the terrific curated items on our exclusive online auction. This is also where you'll be able to make a meaningful donation to March of Dimes, so please get registered right now. I know I can't wait to get my bid in for one of those amazing restaurant packages made possible by our amazing Milwaukee culinary talent. Remember, fall billing will be tomorrow, November 6th, so there's no time to lose. And tonight's event represents supporters like you. March of Dimes continues to empower every family to get the right support and care when they need it the most. A healthy birth for every child is a goal worth striving for. Wouldn't you agree? And you can make it a reality. I'd like to introduce you to the chair of this event, Sherry Stoltman, client executive for Humana, March of Dimes board member, and this year's event chair. Under Sherry's leadership and with the guidance of stellar committees, we're able to bring this incredible event to you. So please put your hands together wherever you are and welcome Sherry Stoltman.
Tonight's about supporting March of Dimes and healthy moms and strong babies, but it's hard not to notice the difference in our events as we gather virtually this year. Personally, I'm grateful that a wonderful organization like March of Dimes is fighting to improve the health of families, just as they've done for over 80 years. The stark reality is that the United States is among the most dangerous developed nations for childbirth, and that's during the best of times. In the midst of the unprecedented global pandemic, with far-reaching effects on both public health systems and the economy, March of Dimes is focused on health of families who we know may be even at greater risk now. This year has been like any other we've seen, but your continued support has not gone unnoticed. Families need us, always. And the March of Dimes community has stepped up to be there for them throughout the crisis. I'd like to recognize the Signature Chefs Feeding Motherhood Committee for dedicating their time, their talent, and their treasure to support this event. Let's give them a round of virtual applause. We're laying the foundation for healthy moms and strong babies, and that work is made possible by the support of our presenting mission sponsors, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the support of Pregnancy Care, Children's Wisconsin, NICU Family Support, and Humana, a health equity partner. I'd also like to thank other local sponsors who've helped make this evening a success, Johnson Insurance and Habish and Rotier. To honor our personal tradition of giving, including taking action to address urgent health crises, today we announced the 2020 Circle of Mission Excellence. My husband Todd and I are joined by Joanne and Steve Samazik, Ann Bryant and Aaron Van Cronkite. And our media sponsor, CBS 58 and Telemundo, Wisconsin. Before I turn it over to our talented MC, I'd like to just highlight a few of the auction items that are available in our online auction tonight. The booze and wine baskets, the spa baskets, children's baskets, so many for those that are handy with Milwaukee tools, a few Caribbean trip packages, and so many wonderful restaurant dining packages from our fantastic chef partners. I encourage you all, bid, bid, bid. Thank you so much for our wonderful sponsors, and thank you everyone. Enjoy the rest of tonight's program.
I'm Ryan Zakali, and I'm the Commercial Market Vice President for Humana here in Wisconsin. Today, during the coronavirus pandemic, Americans are facing unprecedented challenges, and that includes moms and babies. Humana is proud to support the March of Dimes, especially right now. As a health and well-being company, we know that it's more urgent than ever to address the social factors that impact health and to help moms give birth to stronger, healthier babies. We're delighted to join you for this special event to benefit the Signature Chefs Feeding Motherhood campaign. This is important work at a time when families are truly in need. The ultimate goal of this effort is to ensure healthier pregnancies, because that is the key to improving birth. Humana is proud to collaborate with the March of Dimes in its work to help moms, babies, and families right here in Wisconsin. We're looking forward to a tremendous virtual event, and we thank each and every one of you for your support.
Thank you, Sherry, for your support of March of Dimes. You've helped to make this a spectacular event, as have the corporate partners who are committed to fighting for the health of all moms and babies. It's now my pleasure to introduce you to a special guest, Chef Ken Hardiman. Now, if you've been following our social media leading up to this event or attended an event with us in the past, he is no stranger. Tonight, we'll hear his family's story and why he chose to once again participate and show support of the mission of March of Dimes.
Hello, my name is Kenneth Hardiman. I'm the Senior Executive Chef for Pfizer Forum, Mecca Sports Bar and Grill, and the Deer District. I am this year's honorary chef. I want to thank you all for supporting the March of Dimes and all of our signature chefs. Since its inception 30 years ago, Wisconsin signature chefs have been bringing together culinary talent together to raise funds and fight for the health of all moms and babies. This year, we hope to celebrate 30 years of signature chefs, but unfortunately, due to COVID and the pandemic, we've had to look at things a little bit differently and change our format to feeding motherhood. This movement now is to nourish all aspects of motherhood from prenatal to postpartum. Our recipe for a better maternal and internal infant health is feeding motherhood. We begin our journey in March of Dimes, where I would like to discuss and share my story about my son, who was born at 29 weeks at 2 pounds and 9 ounces. He started his journey 56 days in the NICU, and it was just a roller coaster ride for me and my wife. Our son now has some respiratory issues, but he is happily a 5-year-old that loves to sing, watch Paw Patrol, does everything with dinosaurs, and we're thankful for it. He's beginning this year unusually, just like everybody else during this pandemic, attending Shepherd Hills Elementary virtual, and he's doing very, very well, adjusting to the everyday life. Tonight's event supports March of Dimes' work to nourish all aspects of motherhood, from prenatal to postpartum, by fueling change and ensuring all pregnant women to have access to care, addressing inequity in maternal health and strengthening moms, babies, and families across America. I send this pledge to you to donate to March of Dimes and continue the push.
Thank you, Chef Ken. We are thrilled that you're able to join us tonight and for your support of such a wonderful organization. March of Dimes has been at the forefront of providing services for families during this COVID-19 pandemic, including offering many support programs virtually, Now, let's watch how March of Dimes brings their mission to life in our communities.
The U.S. is among the most dangerous developed nations in the world in which to give birth, and that's during the best of times. As 2020 has shown us with the global COVID-19 health emergency, our work is more critical than ever in laying the foundation for healthy moms and strong babies. We can't give up hope. We're tackling the biggest issues head on, including maternal death, preterm birth, and the social determinants of health. Through our research, advocacy, and programmatic work, we advance toward our goal to help all 4 million babies born in the U.S. and their moms and families. We made an impact by
you're able to provide such quality care in a short amount of time that's not typically allowed in the traditional setting.
So the NICU family support was super helpful. It was great to have somebody who I felt like was on our side, that wasn't just a doctor or nurse.
Hypertension and preeclampsia in the last few weeks of pregnancy is one of the biggest risk factors for maternal morbidity and mortality. With the virus and the epidemic, these patients are extremely reluctant to come in again to crowded waiting rooms. Being able to send those patients home with blood pressure cuffs where we can call them has just been tremendously helpful for us.
The initial impact has been really elevating the level of awareness and education around the problem. And we've been working hard to address the issue of infant mortality among African American women.
Whatever changes may be undertaken to our nation's health laws and systems, they must be made with the express goal of improving access to coverage and care that is accessible, comprehensive, and affordable.
We've made enough progress that we should start thinking and conceptualizing how we bring these new discoveries to the bedside so that we actually are making a difference in patient care.
the challenges for moms and babies, especially those most at risk, will not go away by themselves. Thank you for all the support over the past year. You've done so much for moms and babies. And now we need you to continue to take action with us for families today and generations to come.
The critical work March of Dimes has been able to do during the COVID-19 pandemic is vital to making a difference for all families across the country. We're at the point that defines why we're all here tonight. Our sponsors, our volunteers, they've all come together to support March of Dimes, and here's your chance to be a part of that movement. It's my pleasure to introduce you to a very special family. They represent the hundreds of thousands of families who know firsthand of the importance of the March of Dimes work in communities across the country. Let's hear from Willie and Camille Garrison.
So back in 2004, in the spring of 2004, I found out that we were expecting our second child. I actually had my first child when I was away at college. I had him 2 weeks before the end of first semester finals. Had him, finished up my schoolwork, and then came back home for winter break and went back down there and finished up with him. So I was pretty used to having a little bit of craziness in my day-to-day life with just that background story. But when I came up to start at the Medical College of Wisconsin, my son was 1.5 years. My husband was away at college out of state. And so I started med school with a 1.5-year-old here in Milwaukee. So like I said, I was pretty used to having a little bit of crazy all the time. But I have a great family support system here. When my husband came up to join me here in town, we were really doing well professionally and in our personal lives. But in 2004, shortly after we learned of our pregnancy, we were in the midst of one of the craziest times, I would say, of our lives professionally. So I was just starting the second half of my second year of medical school, getting ready to prepare to take my first board exam. But we were still doing really well. My family, like I said, has been a great support to me. And we were used to having Friday night date nights. Like my parents would watch our kids every Friday night once they would sleep overnight. So we were pretty spoiled in that way. But it was on one of our Friday night date nights where our lives kind of turned in a different direction, one that we had not expected. We had gotten home from our date night, and I noticed before going to bed that I had a little bit of a pinkish discharge. And I really didn't think that much of it, but I noticed it. And so I called my doctor, and the on-call physician said, well, it doesn't sound like it's that concerning. You can come in if you want to be evaluated, but you could also just kind of monitor at home. And so I decided to just kind of monitor at home. But then when I went to the bathroom again, I noticed it again. And so I decided to come in. And on the way to the hospital, I had this feeling that like something was really wrong. And when we got to the hospital, I thought, you know, we had just started our 3rd year clinical rotation. So I thought some of my colleagues might have been rotating at the hospital that night, and maybe I would see one of them. These are just some of the thoughts that I had on our way in. And when I got there, the physician who examined me, like I knew right away that there was something very wrong. And I noted that, you know, when they did the exam, they mentioned that they saw the bag of water in my vaginal canal, which meant that I was dilated. I knew that I was 22 weeks along, and I knew what that would mean, being 22 weeks along with an already dilated cervix with a bulging bag in my vaginal canal. I was immediately saddened and just very devastated. My husband, on the other hand, who was not medical at all, sometimes he thinks he's a doctor because he's married to one, but he's not. But when he saw the difficulty that I was having, you know, he became very concerned. And it took a while for things to register for him as to what would happen. I knew that at 22 weeks, there was nothing at all wrong with my baby. I felt my baby moving, the heartbeat was strong, but I knew that I wouldn't be able to continue to support him in the way that I would need to bring him to viability. And so all night, the doctors were kind enough to turn down the fetal heart tone Doppler, so I didn't have to hear that all night. But it didn't matter. I knew that the inevitable would come. I felt him moving all night. I knew that, you know, if I were to deliver him, that he would not be able to survive. And the following morning, I progressed, my cervix dilated more, and I delivered my second child, Josiah Garrison, at 22 weeks gestation. I didn't know how I would deal with that situation. I didn't know if I would be able to watch him as he struggled to breathe. I knew that he would have really thin skin and wouldn't be able to maintain a body temperature. I knew that his lungs were not developed. I knew that he wasn't mature and that there would be no chance of survival for him. But Josiah lived for 4 hours. And I was so grateful to have the support that I had at that time. I was grateful for the opportunity to hold him and to spend that time with him. But there were a lot of things that I experienced after I left the hospital. Like my body didn't know that, you know, I didn't have a baby at home with me. And so I started lactating. Within a couple of days, I was still, you know, bleeding from, you know, the vaginal delivery. There was just a lot that I was going through physically, but then also emotionally. And I also was being affected professionally. I had always known that I wanted to deliver babies as a part of my future practice. And I didn't know how this life experience would impact my life professionally. But I do know that Josiah definitely had a purpose. I live out that purpose every day in the care that I provide to the patients that I see, in the work that I do within the community and community engagement, with the work that I try to do with regards to population health around maternal child health and health disparities. And so I definitely live out his purpose every day. it's hard to share this story sometimes, but I definitely know that part of Josiah's purpose is me being able to share this story. I share this story with my patients who sometimes will have similar outcomes or who are struggling with pregnancy loss, or with my colleagues, with friends and with family. And so, like I said, I know that Josiah had a purpose.
Thank you, honey, for sharing your side of the story. And, one of the things I wanted to say from my side of the story was it was very difficult at that time in our lives where we had to experience such a loss that no family should ever have to go through. No mom should have to ever experience, and no husband and or father should have to go through as well. One of the things that I had to deal with was, I knew something was wrong, but going to the hospital, I had a positive mindset. I was still thinking that we're just going to go in, check on and see what was going wrong, and, hopefully just come on back home. But getting there, and of course, knowing what I know about, complicated pregnancies, things just took a drastic turn. And it goes without saying that we of course lost my beautiful son, Josiah. Those moments where you get to hold your son or hold our child in our hand were very precious to us, and very hard for us as well. I can just remember thinking, like, I can't believe I'm in this situation. I can't believe this is happening. And then I started really thinking, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I kind of felt helpless. I felt hopeless as well. But then, of course, we leaned back on our faith, and that kind of got us going. That kind of got us through certain parts of this conversation. But, we were there until his last breath. And, we, of course, had to, say our last words. I remember going outside and just kind of looking up to the sky and just was at a disbelief that I just had a son whom I love so much, but I could only be here with him for such a short period of time. And my wife and I, we got through it. I remember looking up in the sky and thinking to myself, he's in a better place. Hint, his middle name, Josiah Sky Garrison. And although he will never be replaced, he can never be replaced. I know that through science and through, of course, other conversations that we had about pregnancies after the fact, we were able to have successful births afterward. We were able to have my beautiful son, Solomon Garrison, right behind Josiah. We were able to have Elise Garrison, my beautiful daughter, right behind Josiah. And it just brought some happiness to the conversation after the fact. We knew that, of course, we had, it was tough going through the pregnancy because you had you had other things in your mind that maybe this wouldn't work again. And of course, we had to talk about progesterone shots, and I was the doctor at home during that time. I just want to make sure everyone knows that. I remember
he did have to give me my injections.
Yes, I did every week, faithfully. I would like to say I did use all CDC. I used all proper medical
sterile techniques.
Thank you. And I was able to administer those shots throughout the whole entire pregnancy. But just to let you know, my son passed away, Josiah, on August the 14th. And 1 year later, on August the 13th, we had my middle son, Solomon Garrison. Now, of course, God doesn't make any mistakes in my humble mind. But it was real hard just to know that we had to go through that. But again, we did have 2 successful pregnancies afterwards. And I think it's because of the work of the March of Dimes that helped us through that time. We talked about this before. I didn't even know that the March of Dimes had sent us something at the time. They had gave us information. They were there for us in our most needed opportunity. And so thank you, March of Dimes, for being there for us. And now we're paying it forward. I believe that what the March of Dimes is doing for the world is needed. And so we do need you to give. We do need you to give as much as you possibly can in this campaign to make sure that no family should again have to go through this. Not one family should have to go through this. And if the March of Dimes can be a part of that, and so as well as us, we should do whatever we can to make sure that happens.
Yeah, there are a number of ways that you can support the March of Dimes. One of the ways that I was able to support a few years ago was as a board member for the March of Dimes. And that was very important to me. It really gave a lot of purpose to Josiah's life. And so I was really happy to serve in that capacity. I was on the Maternal Child Health Committee and also on the Advocacy Committee for a while. But I knew that the funds that came through the March of Dimes, I knew that the work that people were doing as a part of the March of Dimes, all were going to a great cause, because no mother, no father, no family should have to suffer the loss or even the stress and complications of prematurity. And so that's why we're here. Josiah's life definitely has a purpose in the work that we do professionally for both of us, but then also personally. And so being a part of the March of Dimes has really allowed us to live out Josiah's purpose. And so we just ask that, that you do whatever you can to help support us in this cause. The March of Dimes has a lot of research efforts. They do provide a lot of education to mothers and families, to physicians. We get a lot of resources from the March of Dimes, and your help in funding these things are really a great need. Some of the other things that educational efforts that the March of Dimes serves also helps with hospital institutions and programming, community engagement. And so anything that you can give, is not too little or too large of an amount, will really be helpful in supporting the March of Dimes efforts. So we thank you for taking this time to listen to our very personal story. We also thank you so much for even considering helping out in whatever capacity you can to support the great cause that the March of Dimes has, which is supporting all babies and making sure that all babies are able to come home. And we look forward to the day when all babies will be able to come home and to be healthy, and that we don't have to worry any longer about prematurity or the health disparities around prematurity and the sequelae that comes with prematurity.
And now is a special time. We're going to make the Garrison's family wish a reality. Each of us can join the fight to improve the health of all moms and their babies. All of you joining us virtually tonight have the chance to support March of Dimes at a variety of levels. With your help, March of Dimes can and will create a world in which every baby has an opportunity to thrive and every family has the best possible start. Our goal is to raise $10,000. So help us meet this challenge for March of Dimes and moms and babies everywhere. And for that, I have a special guest. Davin, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Amanda. I appreciate the introduction. My name is David Clairbout. I'm from Dutchland Plastics, and a lot of you I've seen over the years. I've been the auctioneer at the events in Milwaukee and other chapters of March of Dimes, and trust me, I'd rather be seeing you in person than talking on it. I guess these are Zoom meetings and that. Alma called me up and all this high technology. I'm used to standing in front of 300 people rather than one camera. So we're going to have some fun. It's kind of a big ask tonight. We understand that. Doing everything virtual, and we are so appreciative of you being part of tonight's festivities and the event. We call this typically Fund the Mission. Before I even give you details, I want to say a couple of things about Fund the Mission, about you. Thank you in advance. We can sum it up, and you know this too. It's healthy moms, strong babies. Again, it's 4 words: healthy moms, strong babies. And especially during COVID, it's affected us even more. It's been so challenging for some of these mothers and some of these babies because of the virus going around. It's been challenging for you and your family. We're sure of that. So I'm going to say it one more time. Thank you so much for your consideration at one of these levels: healthy moms, strong babies. So here we go. The $5,000 Fund the Mission donation will help comfort 500 families of babies in the NICU through educational materials and activities. That's for $5,000. Now our next level is $2,500. The $2,500 will help 10 women across access quality prenatal care. Let me say that again. Your $2,500 donation will help 10 women access quality prenatal care. Our next level is $1,000. Now, when I think about the $1,000 level, I think there are going to be some of you that are going, honey, do we do 1,000? Do we do 500? Isn't this the same guy? Isn't this the same company that every year has a Yeti cooler that he brings to the auction and he brags about how great of people the Dutchland people are? They are still great, and we're still going to donate a Yeti. So I'm going to ask Alma to somehow figure this out, but we're going to donate one Yeti cooler to someone who donates $1,000. So how that's going to work is she's going to take all the $1,000 donors and draw a name out of the hat, Alma. I don't know. And if you don't win, don't blame me. Blame Alma. It was her fault. If you win, you can thank me. So anyway, so your decision is, do I do $1,000 or do I $500? I will tell you right now, the Yeti cooler that I'm going to deliver or ship to you will be a $400 Yeti cooler. So that should make your decision a little easier, I hope. So that's from all the employees at Dutchland Plastics, because many of us have strong moms and healthy babies. So the $1,000, just the $1,000 to fund is to continue to level the playing field so that all moms are healthy and all babies are strong. So every gift matters. So that's $1,000. And then our last two are $500 and $250. So we started at 25 or 5, we went to 25, we went to 1,000, 500 and 250. Thank you for considering one of those. And oh, by the way, if none of those are in your range, we will gladly and be grateful for anything you want to donate tonight. So thank you on behalf of March of Dimes, and have a good evening.
Davin, thank you so much. Now, one last reminder that the online auction will remain open until tomorrow, 11/6 at 8 o'clock in the morning. So make sure to get in your highest bid. Don't worry, March of Dimes staff will be in touch with all of the winners, so you will get your prizes. Now, at this time, I'd like to invite our event chair, Sherry Stoltman, to close out the evening.
I'm so grateful for and humbled by your generosity. Tonight, you rallied to support March of Dimes' work to fund research, education, advocacy, and programs to improve the health of all moms and babies. Your commitment to our shared vision and strengthening families by providing that support they need is something we can all be proud of. Thank you for being part of this wonderful event and supporting March of Dimes. Tonight, our goal is to raise $74,000. We can do that with your help. Remember, bid, bid, bid. You've created a sense of community for new parents experiencing hard times. You've brought a moment's reprieve to essential nursing care staffers that are caring for others, and the ability to provide vital education and ongoing resources. Our ultimate goal is healthier moms leading to stronger, healthier babies and reducing the overall premature birth rate. March of Dimes imagines a world where every mom and baby is healthy regardless of wealth, race, or geography. With that, I'd like to close the evening with a message from March of Dimes President, Stacy Stewart.
Thank you for joining us and for your continued support in our mission to fight for the health of all moms and all babies. As we find our nation in the midst of COVID-19, the importance of what we do is more critical than ever. With your help, we're advocating for policies to protect them, working to radically improve the healthcare they receive, pioneering research to find solutions, and empowering families with the knowledge and tools to have healthier pregnancies. And by going virtual with our programs and easily available online resources, including marchofdimes.org and itstartswithmom.org, we're meeting families wherever they are. The March of Dimes community is made up of thousands of incredible people just like you who are dedicated to do better for moms, dads, and babies everywhere. Together, we can build a world where every family is healthy and strong, today and for generations to come.